Ganesha is a being who has a really weird look. He's got the head of an elephant and he has the body of a human. And as my dad would say, he is as big around as he is tall, so he's corpulent. He also has a whole bunch of arms, and in each of his many hands, he holds something that has symbolism. One of the things he holds is a pomegranate, and some people say that Ganesha holds a pomegranate because he's a big fat dude and he likes to have a snack nearby all the time. But the symbolism that I resonate with is that the pomegranate is about patience and commitment. So if you have had the patience and the commitment to open up a pomegranate, inside are all of these seeds. And the seeds represent doing something seed by seed or moment by moment, breath by breath, bit by bit. So on our yoga mats, we all come to the mat with a different level of physical ability. Some of it is natural and some of it we have honed over years. And so the poses that initially were really easy for you, you probably just take for granted. You're like, yeah, I can do that pose anytime. But the poses that you really have had to apply patience and commitment to are the ones that you really value. So these vaccines that have started to be administered in our country yesterday are a light at the end of a very long and dark tunnel. And to get to that light, we have tried to keep ourselves safe bit by bit, day by day. And now is the time to continue practicing that commitment to day by day, encounter by encounter, pomegranate seed by pomegranate seed, being vigilant, being careful. And then we can all hopefully come into a place where we'll all be able to practice yoga together and to hug one another one day, hopefully soon. But today we're still working on patience and commitment in our practice. Find a seat that's comfortable for you and close your eyes. And feel your breath. As yogis, we commit to the path of enlightenment. And that enlightenment doesn't happen when we arrive at a certain point on our path. That enlightenment happens step by step, learning by learning, skill development by skill development. So take a moment to honor this breath that takes you on your own yogic journey of enlightenment, being patient and committed as we grow to be brighter, lighter creatures. Hopefully not with elephant heads and a whole bunch of arms. Bring your two hands together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. And make your commitment to be patient with yourself and to be committed to not just this physical practice that we are about to embark on, but to your practice as a yogi, finding light, whether it's at the end of a long dark tunnel or just a little bit of light that you're able to bring into your life and into the lives of those around you, day by day, step by step, seed by seed. Release your hands down, sit up a little taller, pull your shoulders back, and then open your eyes. Welcome, everybody. For those of you who have recently joined, I'm going to put into the chat again the playlist for today if you want to follow along with that. If you are playing music, now is the time to press play. And then we will meet on our mats, on our backs. Stretch out on your back. And take a really deep breath in through your nose. And then a long, slow exhale through your mouth. Hug your knees into your chest and rock side to side across your back. Maybe add a few circles in there for your low back. Circle as many times in one direction as you do in the other. And then keep your right knee in, put your left foot on the floor, extend your right heel up into the air. So first option here is to hold on to the back of the leg, maybe high on the leg, so around the back of your thigh. Or with patience, maybe you start to slide your hands up your leg. And if you're one of those people who first thing in the morning can just reach up and grab your foot, then you probably don't have as much appreciation for stretching in the back of the leg as the rest of us. So just be at the place that works for you. If you already have your hands on your foot and you need more, you can stretch your left leg out straight on your mat. Here, we're just trying to really be committed to opening the back of the leg and being patient in that commitment. Hold your right foot in your right hand, take your left arm out to the left, and then take your right leg out to the right. Left leg can be bent with sole of the foot on the floor or straight. You decide what is right for you. Step by step, we open up. And then inhale, bring your leg back up, and we'll take a reclining pigeon pose. Cross your right ankle above your left knee. Pull your left leg in. If you can, interlace your hands behind your thigh, and then gently draw that left thigh in towards your chest. And then release both feet down onto the ground. Place your hands down by your sides, palms down by your hips. And then just one vertebrae at a time, we're gonna roll up into a very shallow bridge pose. So think about lifting your tailbone up first, and then one vertebra at a time lifts, come into just a shallow bridge, and then we go back out the way we went in, rolling down one at a time. Once your low back gets to the ground, see if you can arch your mid back up away from the floor and then lower it back down. And again, tailbone lifts and roll up one vertebra at a time, being patient with the low back in these back bends we're coming into, and then roll down one vertebra at a time. Once everything's settled on the floor, see if you can arch your low back up. So you take your tailbone down towards the floor and lift the front of your hips up towards the ceiling, and then lower back down. Hug both knees into your chest again, rock across your back. And then put your right foot on the floor, press your left heel up towards the ceiling. So we're just trying to open up the back of the leg here. Any degree of using hands to pull your leg in works. So maybe you interlace your hands behind the thigh and gently pull in. Maybe you walk your hands up a little bit to the calf. Maybe you have both hands up on your left foot, drawing in. If you need it, remember you can stretch out your left leg. We're not practicing forcing, we're practicing patience and commitment. Keep holding your left leg with your left hand. Take your right arm out to the right, and then take your left leg to the left. Inhale, bring your leg up, and then take the reclining pigeon shape, crossing your left ankle above your right knee. And then if you can, interlace your hands behind your thigh and gently draw in here. The opening of the body for most of us doesn't happen all at once, but with patience and commitment, bit by bit. And then release both feet down to the ground. We're going to take a regular bridge pose here. So hands down by your sides, hug your shoulder blades onto your back, press the back of your head into the floor, lift your hips up. If it works for you, interlace the hands underneath, walk the shoulders under, lift up through the hips. Let the front of the hip try to stretch out a little bit here. Squeeze your glutes a little to see if that can happen for you. And then roll back down. Walk your feet farther out. Place your hands on the tops of your thighs. We're going to slowly lift up into half boat pose. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, lift your head, reach your hands out, lift your feet off the floor, shins parallel to the ground, half boat pose here. Interlace your hands. So I like to have my index fingers and thumbs not crossed. Index fingers pointing out, thumbs pointing out, just on top of the index fingers. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, take your knees to the left and your hands to the right. Inhale to center, and we keep going. Switch to the second side. Knees to the right, hands to the left. Inhale to center, exhale. A couple more each side, slow and steady here. Waking up, building strength, pose by pose in the core. One more time to each side. And then come to the middle. Keep the hands as they are. Bring them up overhead if you can as you stretch your legs out and hover above the ground. And then as you exhale, lift back up. Knees pull up towards the left shoulder, fingers reach to the right. Inhale, stretch back out. Exhale, pull in. Knees to the right shoulder, hands to the left. Couple more. Inhale, stretch out and hover. Exhale and lift. Yeah, you got it. You're looking good there. These are not easy. We're building that strength up. One more, hands to each, one more to each side, wherever you are. And then come to a cross-leg seat, either shin in front, sit up tall, and then forward bend. Walk the hands out in front, fold over. Inhale, lift back up, take your hands behind you, and then take a little back bend here. You might even lift your hips off the ground. And then change the cross of the legs. Tall spine, hands in front, forward bend again. Inhale, back up, hands behind, little back bend here. We're building our forward bends and our back bends, one pose at a time. Make your way to downward facing dog. And just hold there in your downward dog, finding your breath, maybe Ujjayi breath. So that little toning in the throat, so you hear the breath, and that breath, sound by sound, reminds you that we are just building our strength. We're building our flexibility, pose by pose, moment by moment. We are stepping into enlightenment step by step, seed by seed. Deep breath in through your nose here. Blow it out through your mouth. Walk your feet up to the top of your mat. So first, standing forward bend. You can do anything with your arms that feels right to you. Move your head around a little bit, loosen up your neck. And just notice how this forward bend feels. And then hands to your hips, and inhale, come up to standing. And then once you're upright, bring your hands to your heart. Take a moment to feel the soles of your feet connected to the earth. Feel the rest of your body building that pose from the base up. And now we flow with the breath. Inhale, take your arms up high overhead. Exhale, fan them out and down, forward bend, fold in. Inhale, lengthen forward halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale into plank pose. So you know we're going to lower down to Chaturanga. Remember that Chaturanga starts with a good strong plank. Take a breath in here. Exhale, lower Chaturanga, holding that strength down. And then inhale, Cobra. Lift the heart up, spread across the chest, opening the upper back in this back bend. And then exhale, downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your right leg high to the sky behind you. And then see, once you've got it lifted, usually we just go to the place we always go when we lift the leg up. Now that you've got it there, see if you can lift it just a millimeter higher. I see you. Exhale, lunge your foot to the top of your mat. We'll come up to warrior one. So maybe you take this pose for granted. You're like, yeah, I've done this 1,000 times or more. But see if you can be committed to holding this pose here. Interlace your hands, bring them behind the base of your skull, and then use your hands interlaced to lift the head up a little bit. As you back bend, rotate your elbows up towards the ceiling. Commit to staying bent in that front knee. Commit to keeping this curl in your upper back, and then stretch your hands back behind you, stretching the arms straight. Sweep the arms out to the sides and reach them behind you. Interlace your fingers. Humble warrior, fold inside your right leg. Again here, let your head dangle down. Let it have its weight. You don't need to use the muscles on the back and sides of your neck to hold your head up here. Let it go. And then when you're ready, bring your hands away from your back. Being patient with your shoulders here. Breathing into your posture, allowing it to blossom, allowing it to open. Bring your hands back to your low back. Lower your left hand to the floor. Lift your left heel off the ground and then twist to the right. Pull the right shoulder back. Maybe you take that right arm straight up into the air, stacking the right shoulder over the left. You can even turn this into a little back bend, curling in that upper back, just like you did in the warrior one. And then exhale, both hands down, either side of the front foot. So we're in lunge here. Take a breath in. On your exhale, straighten your front leg. Maybe you have the capacity to fold down into it. Inhale, bend your knee and look forward. We're going to do that 4 more times. So each time, exhale and straighten. Commit to lengthening the back of the leg, bend your knee. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Be patient with your leg. Exhale, straighten. And then inhale, bend. Back to warrior one. Root the back heel down. Lift up, both arms up overhead. Warrior one. Curl into that upper back. And then on an exhale, warrior three. Be patient with yourself as you come out into the balance. Those of us who have had to work to get strong balance really appreciate being able to hold this pose. And then on your exhale, standing splits, hands down to the ground or blocks. And then see if you can lift that left leg a little higher and a little higher. This is a really tough pose. There's a little balance involved, or a lot if you take one or both hands off the ground. Good. And then step back, both hands on the ground, step back into lunge. And then if you want the one leg flow, lift your right leg to the sky for a one leg vinyasa, or flow through with both feet on the ground, maybe a child's pose or a held downward dog. We got it, we're ready. Inhale, left leg to the sky behind you. Lift it up, lift it high. And maybe you just lifted it to the place where you always stop. See if you can commit to lifting just a little bit more. Yes, that's it. And then slowly lunge your foot up to the top of your mat. Come to warrior one. So the back heel is down and then both arms up overhead. Interlace your hands, take them behind your head, and then use that juxtaposition of hands into head and head into hands to help you open into your upper back a little bit more. Stay committed to being strong in the back leg and bending into the front knee, and then stretch your arms straight and reach them back behind you. A big, deep warrior one. Circle your arms out and back behind. Interlace with the other thumb on top this time. Keep your chest open and fold into humble warrior. So right inside that left leg, fold down. Let your head go, and then start to bring your hands away from your back. Tiny bend in those elbows. Maybe your hands don't come away from your back, and don't get caught up in that. Just try to open your shoulders the best you can. A lot is happening in this pose. Release your hands back to your low back, and then lower your right hand to the ground. Lift your back heel up and twist to the left. Take your left arm up and rotate around. Once you've found your twist, maybe you turn it into a back bend, finding that curl in the upper back. Yeah, take your head back a little bit. That will help you find that strength in the upper back. Beautiful. And then hand down to the floor. So we'll come into a lunge, back heel is still lifted. 5 times, exhale, straighten the front leg, fold over it. Inhale, bend your knee, look forward. Exhale, each time, maybe going a little bit deeper into your forward bend, fold in and bend. 2 more times, exhale, straighten the leg and fold. Inhale, bend. 1 more, straighten the leg, fold into it, and then bend your knee. Back to warrior one, back heel roots into the ground, and then you lift up from the strength of that back leg. Let the front knee glide forward, both arms up overhead. Find, without having to push your hands into your head and your head into your hands, more of that curl in the upper back. Yeah, you got it. And then exhale, warrior 3. Come out, find your balance. Steady and easy here. You got it. That is beautiful. And now standing splits, hands down to the ground. Lift that standing leg into the air. Finding length in the back of your leg. Finding strength in that top leg, especially the back of the top leg. Even I'm going to include the glutes in that. And then once you've got both hands down to the ground, step back to lunge and either one leg flow or whatever you want your vinyasa to be here. From downward dog, you can take a hop, a couple of big steps, or a bunch of little steps. Bring your feet up to the top of your mat and fold down into your legs. So take a moment here with this standing forward bend. See how it feels. Maybe you go a little bit deeper, pose by pose, movement by movement, letting the backs of the legs open. And then on your next inhale, rise up, arms up overhead. And then on an exhale, hands to your heart. Shift your weight into your right foot. We'll take dancer pose variation here. Bend your left knee, reach back with your left hand. We'll take a moment before dancer just to let the front of the left hip open up. So if you're standing here and you're holding your foot, your heels right into your hip, and you're not feeling any stretch in the front of the left leg, Curl your pelvis under. So tucking under here might help you get that length that you're looking for. And now we go to dancer. Deep breath in, and then as you exhale, push your foot into your hand, reach your chest forward, keep your gaze forward. Try to keep your chest lifted instead of letting it sink down towards the floor. And then we're gonna land in a chair pose. Both feet down at the front of your mat, arms up overhead. So in 5 increments, we're gonna lower down. So when I count to 5, 5 will be your deepest chair. So just think in increments of 5. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lower the hips a little. Breath in, exhale 2. Breath in, exhale 3. Breath in, exhale 4. We're getting there bit by bit. Breath in, exhale 5. This is as low as you get in your chair. And then exhale, straighten the legs. This time, place your palms under the soles of your feet. If you need to bend the knees, keep that bend in the knees. Maybe you start to work the legs a little straighter, folding in. Release the hands from underneath your feet. We'll take a crow pose here. So place both hands down onto the mat, bend the knees, and then pull the knees in onto the outer arms, and the knees clamp in like a vice grip. Be patient with yourself here if you're building your crow pose, if you're working on crow. If not, try to hold it for a couple of breaths. And then we will flow from here, either jumping into Chaturanga or lowering your feet down and then stepping them back to downward dog. And then we'll all meet up in downward facing dog eventually. From downward dog, inhale, lift your right leg to the sky. This time, bend your knee and twist open. Find length into the right side body and the front of the right hip. Inhale, stretch your leg back, straighten it. On your exhale, slowly lunge your foot to the top of your mat. That's core strength that gets that foot there for you. We'll come back up to warrior one. Back heel on the ground and rise up to warrior one. From here, straighten your front leg, Parsvottanasana. Take your hands behind your back. There are different positions to hold your hand in here, or hands in here. One is just holding your hands at your back waistline. 2, holding on to your elbows. 3, bringing your palms together behind your back. You decide what works for you. Tiny bend into the front knee, and then exhale. Reach your chest forward as you fold forward. Forward Parsvottanasana. Building not just length in the back of the right leg, but also strength in that right leg as we fold over it. Inhale, lift back up. And take a back bend here, pulling the shoulders back, taking your gaze up. Again, trying to curl into that upper back, being patient with yourself as you get there. Inhale, lift back up. Turn to face the left long side of your mat. So you'll pivot around on your feet until you're in a wide leg stance. And here, lower your hands down and interlace them behind your booty. Pull the shoulders back. Exhale, forward bend. Crown of your head reaching for the floor. And then when you're ready, if you are, start to bring your hands away from your back. You might have a little bend in your knees. Again, we're looking for commitment to opening the back body, but being patient in that commitment. Not everything happens all at once for most of us. Keep your forward bend, bring your hands to your back, and then lower them down to the mat in front of you. Inhale, lengthen out halfway, staying with the wide legs. but lengthen the spine forward. Keep your left fingers on the floor and twist around to the right. Right arm will lift up to the sky, maybe. The important thing here is pulling that right shoulder back. Yes. Think about trying to stack that right shoulder over the left. You look really good there. Inhale and release. Right hand will plant on the floor this time and twist to the left, pulling that left shoulder back, lifting fingertips maybe into the air, but really focusing on the head of the shoulder, moving back. Inhale and release, hand down to the floor. So now we've got both hands on the floor. Fold in one more time here on this side, and then hands to your hips. Inhale, lift up to standing. It's time for triangle pose. Turn your right toes to point towards the front of your mat. Open your arms out front and back. And then as you exhale, stretch out, and then bring your right fingers down to a prop or to the floor and roll open through the top shoulder. Steady opening in the back of that right leg. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, reverse triangle. Back hand is light on the back leg and right bicep is near the ear as you really stretch out the right side body. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, half moon pose. Bend into your front knee, land onto your right fingertips as you lift the left leg back behind, eventually straightening the right leg, taking the left fingers to the sky. You look beautiful here. This balance we work on, and all of a sudden, after all this time, we're able to hold this pose. If you want to take half moon sugarcane pose, bend your back knee, reach back with your hand, grab your foot. And then once you have the bind, turn it into a little bit of a back bend. Let the heart soar forward as you take the head back, curling into that upper back again. Re-practicing these poses, this opening, this strengthening in different situations. And then release your foot. Step back into lunge, both hands to the ground. And then maybe one leg dog, maybe right leg to the sky for a one leg flow, or you know how it goes. Take your time, use your breath to guide you. Pose by pose, we build the practice. From downward facing dog, bring your feet to the top of your mat. And chair pose. And then stand all the way up. We're going to take a standing back bend here. So maybe you put your hands on your low back to support it. Maybe you wrap your thumbs around your upper rib cage, finding a cue with the thumbs to help you curl into your upper back. And then inhale back up. Exhale, hands to the heart. We'll start the second side here. It begins with dancer prep. Stand on your left foot, bend your right knee, reach back with your right hand, grab your right foot. And we'll take the time here to open the front of the leg and also to hold the balance. And then as you're ready, move this pose into dancer pose. So think about the foot moving back and your chest moving forward, keeping your gaze lifted. If you look down at the floor, then the whole front body collapses towards the floor. Good. Inhale, come on back up, and then land in a chair pose. So in 5 increments, we're going to get down to our lowest depth of chair. So start wherever you want. It could be up here with only a slight bend in the knees. Take a breath in, exhale, lower 1. Breath in, exhale, lower 2. Breath in, exhale 3. Breath in, exhale 4. One more breath in, as low as you get in chair, and then straighten the legs. Place your palms under the soles of your feet again. Bend your knees as much as you need to really work the hands under the feet. And then once you're there with that bind, you can start to work the legs a little bit straighter, just a little at a time. Release your hands from under the soles of your feet. Inhale, lengthen forward. And then we'll skip the crow. If you really want another crow pose, you can take it here. If you want to skip it, then move on through your vinyasa, your options for your practice. I'll wait until everybody gets to downward dog. I see other good things happening too. Hand standing, head standing. I like it. Oh yeah, crow pose is building and looking good. I see both feet off the ground. Fantastic. Good job. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg high behind you, bend your knee and twist open. So just breathe into your left side body, front of the left hip. Inhale, stretch your leg back, and then use an exhale in a slow motion to lunge your left foot to the top of your mat. Then we'll come back to warrior one again, back heel on the ground, and inhale, lift up to your warrior one. Straighten your front leg, bring your hands behind your back. Parsvottanasana, this is full bodied Parsvo. So hands where you like them, chest broad, belly tucking in, and as you exhale, bow forward. Try to keep the heads of the shoulders moving back. Try not to let them collapse down. And then inhale, lift back up. Everything stays the same in the lower body. Upper body takes a back bend, curling into that upper back again, taking your gaze across the sky and back behind you. Inhale, lift back up. Turn your toes, pivot on them so you face the right long side of your mat in a wide leg stance. Lower your hands down, interlace behind your booty, and then exhale, forward bend, fold straight down. If or when you're ready, bring the hands away from the back. Bring your hands to your back, and then on an inhale, lift back up to standing. So we're still in a wide leg stance, but we're going to turn it into goddess or horse stance. So heels come in a little, toes point out, so feet are pointing out at about a 45-degree angle. Put a little bend into your knees. In 5 increments, we're going to lower down. So, you might want to start a little higher, or if you're really challenging yourself, start a little lower. Take both arms up overhead. Take a breath in here. Exhale, lower a little bit, pull your elbows down by your sides. Keep the hips there. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, lower, 4. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, lower, 3. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, lower, 2. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, lower, 5. This is as low as you get. And then inhale, stretch all the way back up. Time for triangle pose. Turn your left toes to point towards the front of your mat. Open your arms out front and back, and then lean forward. Touch those left fingers down on something. Turn your gaze up past your right hand. Deep, full breaths here. And then as you inhale, lift back up. Exhale, reverse triangle pose. Inhale, back up. This time, exhale to half moon pose. Land on your left foot and your left fingers. And maybe you turn this one into half moon sugar cane, bending your right knee, reaching back with your hand, grabbing that right foot. If you're able to grab the foot and make the bind, then open the chest forward, take your head back, push your foot back. That looks really good. Gently release your foot, hands down to the ground, step back to lunge, and then flow through one leg, two leg, no leg. Bring your feet to the top of your mat. Fold down over your legs. And then last chair pose of the practice. Bend your knees. Take your arms up overhead. Since it's the last one, maybe challenge yourself a little bit here, building that strength pose by pose. And then inhale, stand upright. And another standing back bend. Root into your feet. Place your hands where you might want support, low back, neck, or maybe thumbs wrapping back behind the rib cage to help lift your heart up. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, lift your arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, lengthen out. We're going to meet on our belly. So take your vinyasa, going through your back bend, cobra or upward dog, and then we'll meet on our bellies. We've been doing a series of back bends throughout the practice, some for lower back, some for upper back. Now we'll put these together in a Dhanurasana or bow pose. Bend both knees, reach back with your hands or maybe straps, hold on to your feet. Lift the fronts of your shoulders away from the floor. A gentle pull in of the low belly. And then as you exhale, push your feet into the air and back behind you. Lift your chest up. So you're squeezing those shoulder blades together, using the bind of your hands against your legs to help you open up, feel bit by bit, breath by breath, building the pose, and then exhale. Good job. Those look beautiful. Release down, all the way down to the floor. Make your way to downward facing dog. Lunge your right foot to the front of your mat. And then lower your back knee to the floor. So that back knee is going to be down there for a bit. If you want to pat it, place something under it. Walk your hands up to your front knee. So this is low crescent pose. Back out of that lunge into the front knee a little bit until you've got most of your weight centered over that back knee. Tuck your tailbone under here. And then think about bringing the tailbone straight forward. I want you to feel a stretching in the front of the left thigh, maybe into the hip flexor, the front of the pelvis even. As you feel ready, bending a little bit more and more into that front knee, but try to keep that pelvic tuck the whole time. What we're not trying to do is collapse down here, but keep everything pulled in. And then back off, hands down either side of the front foot, half Hanuman's pose. So we straighten the front leg. There are a couple of variations of half Hanuman. One is with the hips in the air and the back thigh about vertical, and then you fold over the leg. The other one, which some people find more pleasing, is to have the hips down, left hip over the left heel, and then fold over there. You might try those too. Not everybody's knee and ankle are going to allow this pressure from the second variation. So think about what works for your body. We are committed to finding enlightenment along this yogic path. It takes patience, just like stretching the hamstrings takes patience. The whole back of the leg. And then inhale, lift up, plant your front foot, bend into your front knee, lift the back knee off the mat, and step back to downward facing dog. Okay, we'll take the second side here. So lunge your left foot to the front of your mat and lower the right knee to the floor. Pat it, because we're going to be on it. Walk your hands up to your front knee and lift your torso up, and then back up a little bit. Instead of being so far into the front knee, back up. So you've got the right thigh vertical to the floor. Tuck under through the tailbone, and then start to take that tucked tailbone forward. It would be easier just to let go and float down into the pose, not using any muscle energy, but that can be dangerous, dangerous type of stretching here. So we train ourselves to be committed for the long haul, not just this short term, oh, look how far I got. All right, back out a little bit, hands down either side of the front foot, straighten the front leg, half Hanuman. So be patient with yourself here, version 1 or version 2. We're trying to fold over the leg, but also reach the heart forward at the same time. It's going to help you keep the spine a little longer. And then inhale, come up, plant into your front foot, bend the front knee, lift the back knee off the mat, back to downward facing dog. Okay, you got your very last flow opportunity here. We're going to meet on our backs. So if you want to take a vinyasa, you can. If you just want to lower down and roll onto your back, you can. If you're really feeling saucy, you can jump through to a seat. But we will meet on our backs. Hug your knees into your chest, rock across your back. All right, put your left foot on the ground, press your right heel into the air, walk your hands up your leg. So maybe your hands are right where they were when we did this pose at the beginning of the practice. Maybe through commitment, through patience, you're able to walk your hands up a little bit more. Maybe all the way up to the foot, but grabbing that foot is just a showy thing that is not necessary. Some of it is body proportions, some of it is just, some of us were born with more flexibility. So be patient with yourself. And then take your right leg out to the right. Left foot can still be on the floor or it can be stretched out. Inhale, bring your leg back up And then hug both knees into your chest, rock over your back. Keep holding the left knee in, sole of the right foot on the ground, and then straighten the left leg. Take your hands behind your leg. Maybe walking up a little bit higher than you did the first time we took the pose. If the first time we took the pose, your hands were on your foot, see if you can draw that leg in a little bit more, maybe with the right leg straight. And then on an exhale, take your left leg out to the left. Inhale, bring your leg up, bend your knee, and once again, hug both knees into the chest. So the two main things we've been working on today physically are back body lengthening, specifically backs of the legs, and also back bending. So some of you might be happy to know we're done with stretching the backs of the legs. Now let's take one more back bend here. So this is Yogi's choice. I recommend a bridge pose. We started with a little, oh, hey, Anderson. We started with a little series of back bends, of bridging into back bends. So you can continue with that. If your shoulders feel open enough, if you feel ready for it in your back body, maybe take a wheel pose. I'll talk you through bridge and maybe getting a little deeper into the bridge. If you're going for wheel, you're on your own here. So again, being patient, set the feet, set the hands down by your side, set the back of the head. So press into the back of the head enough that you can maybe lift your upper back off the floor and squeeze those shoulder blades towards one another, and then lower the upper back down. Push into the feet, lift the hips up. If you can, interlace your hands underneath. If that doesn't work for you, turn your palms up towards the ceiling, thumbs out to the sides. If your hands are interlaced, a little at a time, walk your shoulders under. You have to rock a little side to side to get those shoulders under. Really press the hands into the floor. Whatever parts of the arms and the hands are touching, press those down. One more piece here, isometrically pull your heels back towards your hips. Put a little squeeze into the glutes. See if you can really stretch out across that front body. And then exhale, start to unwind the pose, unlace the hands, walk the arms out, settle the hips down, and then once again, hug your knees into your chest and rock across your back. Keep your knees hugged in, take your arms out to the sides, and then take both knees to the right and take your gaze to the left. Settle into your breath, settle into your body. Let the earth receive your body here. Inhale, bring your knees up. And as you exhale, take them to the other side. And then inhale, bring your knees up. One last hug in here. Any finishing poses that you like. Sorry, we didn't get to inversions. I know some of you were taking them throughout the practice. I promise I'll have an inversion on Thursday if you come back then. And then as you're ready, Stretch out onto your back body. It's time for Shavasana. So many yogis say that the whole reason of the physical poses of yoga is to prepare us for a deeper state of relaxation, often for a seated meditation, but also for Shavasana. So one pose at a time. We have arrived here. Allow yourself to settle into the earth beneath you. And let's release the effort of the practice with one cleansing breath together. Deep inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And then just now, let your breath do what it's going to do. You don't have to control it. It knows what to do. It has that intelligence. Just allow yourself to be here and receive the gifts of your practice in stillness. Once again, become aware of your breath. Feel your in-breath and your out-breath. Begin to move your body gently. Start on the periphery with your fingers, your toes, then your wrists and your ankles. As you're ready, stretch your arms overhead, reach them up. And then on an exhale, roll over to your side. Take a moment here to honor your patience and your commitment to not just this practice, but to the general practice of yoga, finding enlightenment step by step, seed by seed. Bring yourself up to a seat. Once you're oriented in your seat, close your eyes and draw your hands together in front of your heart. I hope as your day goes by, you're able to be patient with yourself and those around you, that you're able to be committed to your path, the one that leads you to enlightenment, one ray of light at a time. Let's take a moment to gather our energy together, and we'll send it to all of those who are in need, all of those who are working to keep us all safe, all of those who could use a little extra support. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.